Hello, beautiful souls. I have for you today a multifaceted, multi-talented, beautiful, creative, amazing woman. She is an actor, she's a producer, she's a writer. I don't know what else to say, but so let me just bring to you Ira Dubey.
Hi, Paayal.
Hi, Ira.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
I am really happy to have you here, and this is the month of Women's Day, so the women empowerment, and you're a powerhouse.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. I don't know about that, but let's hope so. I come from let me put it simply, I come from a family of powerhouses. So,
absolutely.
And very, very strong women. So thank you for saying that. It's very kind of you. Yes, I think it's great that you're doing this, that we're getting a chance and a platform to talk about women. I think as a storyteller, very sweet, very kind introduction. As a storyteller, one is trying to wear many different hats all the time. And I think the thing that really resonates with me always, I keep going back to in the kind of work that I choose to do, is women's voices and women's stories. So I think it's really important to keep talking about it.
So tell us a little more about what you do, because I know you act on the big screen, you're on OTT, you do theatre.
Well, theatre is my main stay, I would say, my home ground, my first love. My mum has a theatre company. She's a director, producer and actor. She's a tour de force. I know you're going to be talking with her later as well. My aunt in Delhi had a children's theatre company. So all of us actually, the joke is, the in-house joke is that we're a Nautanki family, which we were. But from the Nautankis in all of us, which I think everybody has a little bit of that in them, I was the one who followed in my mum's footsteps or chose to take it on as a profession. And I think all of us went in various different directions. Whether it's psychology or banking or finance or entrepreneurship, or, our family is full of academics and very, very brilliant people. And I think even in those fields, creativity is a huge part of what you do. But we just chose to go into the artistic profession, if you will. And I think telling stories is something that storytelling is as old as time itself, and I think that there will never be a time, hopefully, inshallah, where we will not want stories that reflect who we are, the world that we live in, that reaffirm our faith in humanity, that educate us, illuminate us, move us, make us laugh, make us cry. I think that's something that human beings need. It's part of what makes us human and helps us connect with everything around us and with each other. So I feel very grateful. I feel very happy and blessed that I can do what I love, that I get the opportunity to follow my passion in the truest sense of the word. And yes, I am trying, while I've been basically a theatre actor for 20 years, I've done a little bit of television, I've done a little bit of film, and I'm now trying to go more and more behind the camera. That's where I see myself going in the years to come. I have produced a short film, I have a little production company of my own, I'm developing a bunch of other projects with friends and collaborators, and now I want to work towards making something of my own. So I see myself going more behind. Not on this couch here.
Okay, let me take this all in because it's a lot. Right? It's a lot. What all you're doing, what all at such a young age you have accomplished already. You spoke about walking in your mother's footsteps, huge footsteps to follow. And I'm sure along with following in those footsteps come a lot of stresses of their own.
I think, people love asking me this question about Mum. Mum and I have done a gazillion interviews and a gazillion sort of mother-daughter, sort of things. And, it's strange. It shifts all the time. I mean, like every mother-daughter, when I was younger, I used to rebel. We used to argue,
That's normal.
It's exactly the same kind of relationship that any mother-daughter would have. Yes, she's a powerhouse. Yes, she's she's extremely... More than anything else, my mother is a very driven, intelligent,
It's a highly intelligent family.
Yeah, thank you. So no easy thing to follow and live up to. But what we were talking about earlier, that's really what's more interesting, and I think what I really would love to talk about with you today is that given that, for example, we come from academic or overachieving or high achieving families and backgrounds, in a society like the kind that we live in, where whether we like it or not, it's still very patriarchal, and it's still in many ways expectations and roles that people are supposed to play, both the sexes, I'm not even going to limit it to just women, are omnipresent. They are there, just beneath the surface. You just have to scratch a little bit and there they are, out there. So I think that the reality of that is something that's important to, talk about and look at, and how do you navigate that in today's world. And being in an artistic profession, being in a creative profession, I can tell you, it's part of my experience in this life, in my career, that it hasn't been necessarily a bed of roses being a woman and trying to navigate this profession. That said, I'm not the word feminist has been misused and abused a great deal, especially in the last 10-15 years, ever since the Me Too movement and stuff like that. So I have nothing against men. I love men. I just want to get that out there. I want to put it out there. I love men.
Please don't take that incorrectly.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel that both sides, I always feel like it's far more complex than we make it, I think the reality is always more complex. It's never just black and white. But yes, juggling a bunch of things. Thank you for saying that. It's very kind of you. I think it's one life, when you have a lot of things to say or you have a lot of things to do, I think one must always push oneself to explore those various things. And so that's the hope, and one is realistic, one is practical. Ours is an industry which is based on a visual sort of a thing. I mean, as a 41-year-old woman, I know what the reality of my situation is, what my limitations may be, what my capability is, what my career is at this moment in time, what it could be, and I think it's important to always be self-aware about where you are and what is the reality of where you are. So I think for that reason, I felt that a journalist asked me yesterday, what do you feel about your career, in film, and what do you feel, and what do you think it's been, whatever you thought it would be. And it was really strange, because someone may have asked me this question in my 20s, someone may have asked me this question 10 years ago, and today when I was asked this question, I was like, when I look back and I think about my career, I just feel like, oh, okay, so that's how it was meant to be. That's how it was meant to be. Every single moment has led me to this moment where I'm talking to Paayal and I can tell her about, I went from here to there and now I'm moving there. And that's life. Life is an undulating up and down sort of a journey. And the sooner you realize that and the sooner you embrace it, the better you will flow with it. And I think that to me has been the most marvelous learning. I would say every decade brings with it such delightful, delicious, learnings. In your 20s, you don't know who the hell you are. You're just discovering, you're just experimenting, you're just trying everything, you're just rebelling, it's a ride. And I had quite a ride, I have to say, I have to admit. I have no regrets whatsoever. Yes, do I feel I could have been more focused, more driven, more, had blinders on and done things differently? Sure. I think everybody in hindsight is 20/20. Whenever you look back at life, you can find various things that you could have done in different ways. But I have zero regrets. I feel the only regret I may have in my life is if I've ever hurt the people I love. Beyond that, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I think, so in my 20s, let's say it was discovering, experimenting. In your 30s, you have some kind of idea of who you are. You begin to understand a little bit of who you are. And by your 40s, you hopefully know a little bit of who you are. And by your 50s, you just don't give a damn, and that's really the aim in life. The aim in life is to be able to really, like I said, flow with it. Flow with life. And to flow with life, like we were talking about before we put the cameras on, is not always easy. There have to be techniques and tools and things that keep you coming back to the understanding of yourself, to that truth of yourself, to the center of yourself. And I think to do that in today's day and age, is extremely important, because we are inundated with stimuli. We are inundated with information and stimuli which has layers and layers of reality. I mean, social media itself, we've talked about this before.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, that it can be very productive, it can be wonderfully useful, it can be, a fabulous tool to use for dissemination of information to reach people in every corner of the world. It's a fabulous thing. But if it's not used well, or misused or misunderstood, and it can tap into a psychology which is really a sense of lack, a sense of unreality, a sense of illusion, a sense of not feeling good enough, and really sort of reinforcing the anxiety and depression that people face, especially young people. So for me, that is a huge pet peeve. I have a huge sort of and I'm not saying I'm blaming social media alone. I'm just saying that the world we live in is becoming less and less about you and me talking. It's more and more about this.
Absolutely.
So I feel that that's really isolating people. It's isolating human beings. So I think that is something we have to be very careful of. That's something that's very close to my heart, that I don't want to be so consumed and disconnected from the people around me and the world around me, that I get lost and I'm totally isolated and I become a machine. So that's something I feel is important. So for that, I feel personally, for me, I love this one quote. I always I go back to it all the time. It's something on Instagram or something on social media. It's like, okay, it's 1995. We don't have Wi-Fi. Talk to each other. Okay, I love that. I live by that. So I mean, I make sure that I have a lot of one-on-one interactions with the people who I love and care about, who are my friends and family and support systems. And I think that's important, very important. I think nature, for me personally, maybe because I'm a artistic, creative person and a romantic at heart. Like all the romantic poets, they used to only write about nature. So nature for me has a extremely transformative, healing sort of a quality. So I like being in nature every now and then, especially because we're all city people. We live in a city. Forget the fact that it's practically very polluted and practically very suffocating to live in. Today, this morning, I was telling you I was feeling a bit sniffly and I was feeling like I'm not feeling very well. And I messaged my Ayurvedic doctor and she was like, something. And it's the AQI and something. I was like, what? Say what? So it's literally now all around us, So we have to get out and breathe fresh air. It's very, very important.
Yeah, if we can find the fresh air.
Yes. So you have to find it. I think you have to find it. That's important. And I mean, it's different strokes for different folks. I mean, nature, for me, my partner, who is again a very urban person and all, he's not so into nature, So it's so different things for different people. Work itself can be extremely meditative. I think when you creative work, I think work for me, and my mom is going to talk much more about this because her work is meditation for her. Her work is, it is that. And I think when you channelize your creativity in an interesting, fun way, work can also be very meditative, very healing, very centering, very liberating, very transformative. I do believe, I'm a little bit afraid of talking too much about this topic because again I feel it's misunderstood. I like to meditate, whatever that may mean. For everyone it's different. Everybody finds
What does it mean for you?
I think stillness first.
And that's exactly what it is.
First, and
it's just calming your mind down. The stillness of thought.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, however we achieve it, I mean, this is something that you are much more of an expert, and we've had conversations about this off camera as well, and I always like to pick your brain more and more about this, and I feel like it's an endless cup.
It really is.
You can keep drinking of it, and it's wonderful. It's an exploration. Today somebody presented me a book, The First and Last Freedom, Jiddu Krishnamurti. I'd never read it before. I mean, every time I discover something new, some new way of looking at things, some new way of understanding, because the questions are all the same. The desire is all the same. The consciousness is one. So, I mean, really your way of getting there doesn't matter. Your understanding of it doesn't matter. I would not even say blanket things like meditation or spirituality or, religion. I don't even want to go there. Everybody is allowed their own way of reaching that place or being in that place and feeling it or experiencing it. And I think that's beautiful.
You captured the essence of it when you said that, everybody has different ways of achieving that meditative state.
Yes.
For someone, it could be just having a quiet cup of tea.
Yes.
It could be walking in nature.
Yes.
It could be sitting in stillness, in meditation.
Yes.
So yes, find your way, find what works for you. She has touched upon a lot of very important topics. As you said, social media, the misuse of social media. What we're trying to do here is to use social media in a way where we create awareness about mental health, about women empowerment. So you being someone who is constantly in the eye, in the public eye, all of this, you've spoken about how you use nature as a way to release stress, right?
Yes.
You've spoken about how it's not been an easy journey being a woman in your industry.
Yeah.
What is your message to the women out there attempting to get into this industry or who are in this industry, who are struggling, be it your creative field, be it in the public eye? What is your message?
I think women are Durga. I think women can do anything. I think women are truly, they are goddesses. I really believe that. And I really believe that I would just say that you be true to who you are. You be true to your authentic desire to be, and know the reality of the situation around you. I don't judge. Everybody knows that the world works the way that it works. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you want to go somewhere, you want to reach somewhere, you want to, climb that ladder, whatever it may be. You want to have success in life. You've got to know the reality of what you're getting into, which water you're stepping into. And once you go there, you learn how to swim, and you be true. The only thing that I would say is that you be fearless. Be true to who you are. Don't ever be afraid of being true to who you are. I think because that's what's going to make you unique. I mean, there are a million people who can look at a certain way or be a certain way, and of course we have role models and we have people we look up to and people inspire us, and people people are just people have achieved so many fabulous things in the world, women especially. But I still believe very strongly that if you don't find your own voice and your own truth and your own you'll never shine fully. So always remember to come back to who you are, follow that fire, follow that inner voice, and you will succeed, and you will be able to do something that no one else has ever done. So I think that for me is the most important thing. And as far as busting stress goes, there's lots of ways. I mean, there's yoga, there's dancing, there's for women especially, I feel like yoga saved my life. I found yoga when I was 19 years old, and I've always gone back to it. There may be times where I'm shooting for long periods, or I'm traveling, or I get lazy, or whatever may happen, but I always find my way somewhere back to yoga. It's a mind, body, soul practice. It's really genuinely saved my life. Whatever form of exercise works for you. Exercise is also very important. It could be a walk, like you said, in nature. It could be anything. It could be anything that gives your body movement. Movement is important. And I think dancing could be dancing also. I mean, I haven't danced in years. I wish we could go dancing. There's nowhere to dance anymore. I don't know what's happened to all of us. The 80s was where it's at. You can't go dancing anymore. It's horrible. So yeah, dance in your living room.
You need to write a dancing show and then act in it.
Yeah.
And get all of us to do
that.
Absolutely.
Well, we did one already, Whack Girls. So yeah.
Yeah, well, exactly. No, thank you, Ira. I think the intellect of the family shone through nice and bright. Mom would be very proud of you when she sees this.
Thank you. Oh, she's going to rock and roll this interview. She'll be laughing and rolling, and yeah, she's going to just rock and roll.
She's just going to be herself. But
yeah.
No, some very, very important points that have been brought out today. Find your way to be yourself, be true to yourself, find what works for you, be fearless in being you. And another very important message is you always continue learning. There is no one path, there is no one set way, whether it is for meditation, whether it is for spirituality, whether it is for finding your own truth. Continue exploring, continue learning. Thank you, Ira. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you
for
much.
This beautiful insight that you've given us today.
Oh, I hope it was something. Yeah. You give us insights all the time. So I'm very happy that I could be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.